Alright guys, this is going to be an honest review of the new Motorola Moto X Pure edition. This is the United States version of this phone, the successor to the very popular, very customizable Moto X from the guys at Motorola. If you're unfamiliar with this phone, it is, I guess, considered a mid-grade phone, not budget, not entry-level like the Moto G, and I guess not high-end like the Nexus 6, which I'm actually using to film this video with right now. So Motorola has put this out in 2015 as a budget-friendly, we'll say, $399 smartphone, completely customizable in terms of the front color, the back cover end, the color and the materials of the back, as well as the accent here and the accent here. So we'll talk about the hardware, the software, my likes, my dislikes, what makes this phone great and what makes it not so great in this brief, honest review here of the Motorola Moto X Pure. Jumping right into the looks of this phone, you can tell that it's really, really flashy, really, really nice. This is the slate gray and red back. I'm going to apologize in advance here for the focusing of the camera. I'm out on the road right now in beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. Anyway, back materials, this is a soft touch. It's very, very rubbery feeling. You can kind of hear that. Right, so it's kind of like grippy, I would call it. Not hard, not soft. Has a little bit of a nice texture to it. Really quite nice. These are replaceable, removable, or you don't pull this off. But obviously, this is what makes the phone unique: is that these snap on. There is no replaceable, removable battery. There is no removable. There is removable storage. So you have a SD card inside the SIM slot right here. So when you pop the SIM out, which is a nano SIM, there's a space for an SD card, which is really cool. Accent colors, this is red, obviously. You see it on the back of the phone, as well as here on the front of the phone with the speaker grills. Really nice metal trim around the outside of the phone. Standard USB 2 micro USB here, which would have been nice if that was USB-C and swappable, turnable. That would have been cool. But overall, build quality of the phone feels really great. I still think it's a little bit too big. I'm more of a fan of a 5-inch or even 4.7-inch like on the iPhone 6. So for me, it's a little bit too big still. It's kind of hard to reach that top corner without shuffling the phone around. Front-facing stereo speakers, really, really awesome to have. Front-facing flash on the selfie camera works pretty well. It's still, sort of a bright, small light, so you're going to get shadows and stuff. But it does work, and it's kind of a neat little add-on to have. Back camera here, I think, is, 20-something megapixels. It's not even really that great. We'll get into the camera quality here in a second. They do give you a dual LED flash. So all in all, it's basically the same thing you've seen in other smartphones. Volume rocker, power button here, headphone jack on the top. No huge improvements in terms of, the build or what you see in terms of the overall sort of feel of the phone. I do like it, though. I like the dimple here with Motorola that they always throw in. That's pretty nice. I do just like kind of the fit, the finish, the feel of the phone. It's really quite nice. Jumping into the software, you do get the sort of hands-free controls that Motorola offers you, which allows you to look at quick glances at your notifications, as well as sort of not unlocking the phone, but being able to light up the clock and light up your notifications just by waving your hand over it, which is great. Phone is heavily integrated into sort of the Google, how would I call it? It's like the newer versions of the Google OS. It has basically a very, very stock look and feel to it, very much like a Nexus, with only the additional Motorola features that are added on, which I just talked about with the sort of hands-free stuff. And you have a driving mode. They're all nested in Motorola Moto Assist. And so you have meetings modes, you have home modes, you have a bunch of different sort of ways to customize what you can do with the software of this, whether or not it sends you notifications at night, or whether it'll read you your text messages when you're driving, or whether or not you have a location-based thing, like when you go to the office, it'll change your notifications, etc. So that's a really neat add-on to the sort of Android experience. I think Motorola's done a really good job sort of incorporating that into the software of the phone. Otherwise, it's very, very basic and very, very stock, and I actually like that quite a bit. I'm really tired of TouchWiz and HTC Sense and all the other bloatware and crap, even the Sony crap, crapware that they put in their phones. I think all in all, Motorola probably makes one of the best software suites for Android right now. Except for sort of the Nexus line of software. I do think that this is one of the best software add-ons because it's very minimal, very light, not in your face at all. You can deactivate the software, the built-in software that you don't want, which is really nice, and only use the features that are sort of important to you. In the same regards to software, there is still lag. This phone is laggy, and it's really annoying, and it's going to force me to actually go back to using the Nexus 6 because of the lag. I notice it big time in apps like Hangouts with the keyboard, sending and receiving messages. I notice crash after crash after crash with maps. I was using this phone to navigate using Google Maps, getting here, and it was insane how many times it crashed. And so the lag and the crash and the bugginess of Android is still annoying, still ever present in 2015, and still in your face, and so that's kind of frustrating. Otherwise, the software works. There's not much to it in terms of what Lollipop has to offer. I'm hoping this phone will get upgraded to Android M, which should be here in the next couple weeks, if not couple months. And Motorola and Android are typically one of the first ones to come out with the new versions of the software. So we'll probably see this to have a build drop for it really, really soon once it's been announced. And so now we'll sort of get into talking about the other features of the phone, most notably the camera. Motorola came out and said that they vastly improved the camera. It's 21 megapixels or whatever now, and it's great and it's wonderful. It's still not there, unfortunately. It's still to the point where nighttime shots are not so great. Low light shots are not so great. The quality, the focusing, it's just not that great. The best camera I think right now on the market, I haven't used the G4, but the Galaxy S6 is a fantastic camera. The Galaxy Note is a fantastic camera. The iPhone is a fantastic camera. The camera in this is still crappy. The focusing is crappy. Just the overall user experience is crappy. You see a lot of these tests where people have they set up the phone and they'll do side by sides, and they'll have very, very static, very sort of studio-like shots where people look at the quality of the camera, they look at the quality of the results, and then compare them side by side. But that's not no one does that. No one uses studios to take pictures of anything. I mean, sure, people do, but everybody's out, snapping pictures of their kids. They're, doing things quickly. They're using the autofocus. They're taking pictures of themselves, their friends, whatever. And when you have a frustrating camera experience, it bugs you, and it bugs you so much that sometimes people don't like their phones because of that. And that's sort of the case with this. The quality of the photos might be okay, but just the overall user experience and the overall sort of camera experience I had with this phone has just not been that great. I would much rather use a Samsung or an LG or an iPhone. One other thing to talk about that I haven't yet that's really super sweet is the fact that you can use this phone on any network in the US that will support SIM cards. And so for me, that's Verizon. I actually have a Verizon data SIM in here, which I activated on an iPad and then stuck it in here, and it works great. I use it for voice over IP for my calling, and I use data only for everything else. And so it's really, really awesome to not have a contract and not have to deal with anything else other than data, because that's really what the only thing I care about is data. And you can activate this on T-Mobile, you can activate this on at&T, and it's pretty badass. The fact that any SIM card, throw it in, contract free, carrier free, unlocked. Use it overseas, use it on CDMA, LTE, use it on GSM, LTE, and it'll work great. And so that's one of the reasons I really like this phone, is that it's very versatile. It's a Swiss Army knife of cell phones, in my opinion. I mean, it's a good size, good, very, very awesome quality screen, super bright, super colorful, rich colors, decent enough camera, decent enough build quality, decent enough battery, hands-free Motorola integration. The software works really well. Really good updates from Google. I think that they're really good about updating their software, and so I think that we will see the updates come for this phone quickly. And so I guess my final thought for this whole review here is that while I really do like a lot of the features of this phone, I think it's a great phone for most things. The only deal breaker for me is the camera, and I would love to say that this phone earns top marks for me and it's going to be my next best Android phone, but honestly, I'm waiting for a better camera. I think Motorola, for me, and again, this is for me, this is not for everybody, continuously fails in the camera department, and they've yet again forced me to not use their product based on their crappy phone or crappy camera. So I'm going to look forward to the new iPhone, and I'm going to look forward to the new Nexus series of phones that come out, and see what Google has in store for us with their new Nexus phones. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little quick, honest review of the Motorola Moto X. Sorry again for the focusing. Hope you guys have been able to stand it for this whole video. And stay tuned for more reviews coming up. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.